Well, good afternoon and welcome. I'm so excited to be here today, and it's truly a privilege to be able to speak with so many influential people in the audience. You know, throughout my life, I've been blessed that I've had several teachers who've taken the time to mentor me and to help me push beyond what I thought I could accomplish. But very often, we focus just on classroom achievements, how someone can help us to ace an exam or to get into that college that we choose. But being a teacher, it's about more than all that, right? You're also equipping us with a thought structure, a way to approach problems that's applicable to almost every aspect of our lives. So as you may have guessed, I enjoy climbing. Being a Texas resident, that often involves a plane ticket to get there. But here we are. This is me, my brother, and a friend. We're climbing a mountain in Ecuador. It's a very nice negative 20-degree day. But just before that, we came into a very real-world problem. And that problem was a crevasse. I'm sure you all know this, but it's basically a fissure formed in the ice over years and years of glacial movement. And a crevasse can be up to several miles deep. So basically, it's a hole that if you fall into, you're probably not coming back out. So I walk up to it, I take a look down, and I'm heading back to base camp. That's it for me. But let's see if we can take some learning we gain in the classroom and apply it to this very real-world situation. And it could be something as simple as a scientific method. So let's make observations, right? Well, it's very, very wide, so there's no way we can go around it. And we didn't bring a ladder, so we're not going to be able to go across. But there is a section, it's only about 4 feet wide, and given the altitude and the wind speed, I hypothesize I can jump across. Test hypothesis. Rather, convince brother to test hypothesis. And there he goes. He made it safely across, and now the final step, analyze results. I know I can jump much farther than he can. So all three of us made it safely across. We were able to continue unimpeded to the summit. And I bring up this example in a very lighthearted sense, merely to illustrate that many of the problems we'll be faced with every day will be outside of the classroom. And that's why your work is so important, because you equip us with a thought structure, this scientific way of thinking to tackle some of these problems, which sometimes the answers can be a matter of life and death. I want to leave you very quickly with a story about someone who inspired me to understand this and how powerful what we've learned can really be. About 9 months ago, we set out. We wanted to do a climb out in Arizona. It's an area called Cochise. And we went with my buddy Logan. He's actually an instructor himself. And we trained for probably a good 6 or 7 months for this. And given the difficulty of the climb and our ability, we knew it would probably take about 13 hours to get to the top. So the morning of, we set out well before dawn, and we got started. The climb's going really well. This is me looking down from the second pitch at my brother. And what a pitch is actually a length of rope that you travel as you move. And so the style of climbing we're doing, it's very efficient, but it also requires full commitment. And that is, once you get past the first pitch, there's no way to get off the route unless you finish up and over the top. So it's very important to gauge your skill and ability and the time of day to make sure you can finish. So as we're going along, the climb's going great, we come into another group. And this is quite common. It's a nice day. But we realize they're going slowly. And given our time and trajectory, if we want to finish before it's dark, we're gonna have to speed up. So we ended up taking an alternate route to the top. And here we are. We finished just at sunset. It's a spectacular view out to the valley below. And a fun fact about this, actually, it was taken just a couple weeks before the selfie was invented. So our friend Logan actually wasn't a part of the picture. But while these mountains are beautiful during the day, they're actually very inhospitable at night. Winds can rip through the valley, and temperatures can drop well below freezing. So after the picture, we realized we needed to hurry out of there. We put on our headlamps and prepared for the descent. And just as we're turning to go, I hear a noise. I don't think anything of it. And then I hear it again. And this time my stomach just sinks because we know exactly what that is. As we look over, there's no light. And that means those other climbers, they're stranded out there, somewhere on the face, with no headlamps. And given the conditions, it's very unlikely they're going to survive the night. So I panic. I reach into my pack, I pull out my phone, and I'm trying to call in a rescue team. And we know very well how remote the area is. It's unlikely they're going to be able to get there in time. And that's when Logan steps in. He says, guys, we're not going to let these climbers die out here tonight. It's like, all right, Logan, what are we going to do? So my brother and I, we quickly make an anchor, and we start to lower him down. As he goes, he's searching in the dark, and he comes across the first climber. He's there, he's despondent, he can't put two sentences together. And the climber is actually trying to rappel off a single strand of rope. And for those of you who don't know, this is something you would never do. And in fact, when Logan reaches him, there's only 2 elbow lengths of rope remaining below the climber. And that means if we had waited at the top just 30 more seconds for a rescue team to arrive, he would have gone off the end and out into the abyss below. So Logan quickly stabilizes him, attaches him to the face, and continues down. And there he reaches the other climber, and she's in even worse condition. In fact, she's fading in and out of consciousness, and the wind is ripping her back and forth into the rock face. And Logan, at this point, goes to exactly what he knows best, right? He goes to a logical thought structure, which he learned. So he makes observations, right? He realizes the rope is actually impinged down below, up under an arete, and it's preventing either of the climbers from ascending further forward, right? So he makes a hypothesis. If he could get that rope free, then both the climbers can continue up to the top, right? So he starts to test it. He pulls the rope, struggles for over an hour, but it's jammed. There's nothing he can do to free it, right? So he assesses the results. What if, the woman's weight is clearly counter-levering the rope further and further into that rock face? What if her weight was off the rope? Maybe he could get it free then. So he tries to revive her, gets her to muster every last bit of strength to grab onto the rock just for a second. And she tries, she gives it all her effort, but she's spent, and she falls back down, dangling from the rope again. So he assesses it, thinks, forms another hypothesis. Okay, what if the woman wasn't on the rope at all? So he reaches onto her harness, he pulls off 2 cams, puts them in the rock face, and attaches her directly to it. With that, he can untie the rope, and with it free, in less than 2 minutes, he's able to pull it free of the arete, reattach it to her, and then from above, over the next couple hours, we're able to pull the climbers up and over into safety. And as we revive them, they're coming back and we're preparing for the descent, the man reaches into his pack and he pulls out 2 working headlamps. Those climbers had all the tools they needed to save themselves. They had the gear, they had the light. And that's why Logan, great climber that he is, he didn't save them by an elite set of rescue skills. He saved them by taking what he'd learned in the classroom, something as simple as the scientific method, and applying it to a very real-world situation. Every day we'll be faced with a series of problems. And that's why what you teach is so important, because you enable us to find the really big answers. Thank you.